What's up, world? Here doing a quick video on just my comparisons on these two subs. These are 12 inchers. These are some fucking pretty beastly subs. And don't be fooled by my hand in front of these. These are big. These are big subs, big for 12s. Obviously not your, they're not subs that go beyond $300. This one here is like about let's say you could get this online for under 300, between 250 to 300. And I don't know if you pay 250 or if you're getting it from an authorized dealer, and if you should expect any support if anything should happen. It's the Incriminator audio lethal injection. I just had this delivered because I thought that I blew the coils on my RE SEX. This is the first version that they came out with after their original SE, which sported a different basket that a lot of other manufacturers used. And they came out with this new basket with a magnet cover, and I believe the original was designed and made in the USA, whereas this one is designed in the USA, but it is assembled, I don't know, it's assembled out of overseas, probably China or, I don't know, an Asian country. I don't know. Research it yourself. Google it. Anyway, just making this video because I wanted to compare these two subs. Regardless of where these are built, cost, price, this RE SEX, I know it just says SE here, but this is the first SEX after the original SE, which again I said had a different basket, which were used by a lot of different manufacturers, and the magnet was was exposed. And now they've got a a plastic cover that goes on the magnet, and generally when you see a magnet cover or something like this, you see it on a cheaper speaker that's looking to hide a smaller magnet. That's not the case with this, so I think it was a bad move for RE to do that. Although this magnet cover, it fits very snugly on the magnet that's in there, which is a big magnet. And the design is cohesive between that cover and the spokes, or the whatever you want to call this cast frame. And it is a cast frame. It's a heavy duty sub. It's rated at 600 watts. I've heard plenty of times that it takes a lot more. I was probably giving it close to 800 watts with my stock electrical, with a supposedly 1,000-watt amp, which really it's 880 watts RMS, and it's supposed to be a CEA compliant amp. That amp gave this thing plenty of power, and it did great for a long time. The only fault that I could give this sub is that the lead wires, I don't know if I'll be able to get in here and show this to you. I don't have this somewhere where it's getting a lot of light. But anyway, these lead wires, they are not sewn into the spider. They just jump over into the coil. And that was, it worked great for over 6 years. I beat this thing up hard, really hard. And what happened was that these lead wires, eventually the flexing made them snap. And I had them fixed. After I hooked the sub back up into my enclosure, I didn't realize that the wires coming out of this thing to the terminal came off. I thought that was installed like solid and it would never break. And anyway, I thought I broke this sub, but it's fine. And I went and purchased this lethal injection after lots and lots and lots of research. And I'll compare and contrast between these. Haven't installed this one yet. I'm about to go do that. This one's heavier. I haven't weighed them to see exactly how much heavier this one is, but just by picking it up, it's easily 5 to dare I say, close to 10 pounds, maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 10 pounds heavier than this one. And this is no light sub. Again, the RE, a lot of people out there like to talk shit as soon as something's not built in the USA. That's fine. Of course, we want products that are built into the USA. This one isn't anymore. It's an amazing sub. I'm extremely happy with it. It sounds great. It's a very good sounding sub. So I can't wait to see the difference here. I had this one in the box, which was to spec, which was 2 cubic feet, ported. I had it in a slot ported box, which was built specifically for this sub, 232 hertz, something like that. This one, which was, and that was the largest size box that they recommended for the SEX. And for the Incriminator audio, the specs are somewhat similar. I believe that the optimal ported enclosure for this thing is like 2.5 cubic feet. I'm sticking it in the box that I've got because that's what I got right now. And this is rated at 1,000 watts RMS, whereas this one's rated at 600. Of course, this one can take a shitload more. And if this one's 1,000, I know that this can take a lot more. This thing is built extremely well. I mean, it's no joke. I got this, just got it in. It looks like Incriminator Audio has a lot of different parts that they're interchanging between subs depending on their availability and just whatever the hell's going on. I really like what I got. I wasn't expecting to have this butt end here on this back plate. It kind of looks like the newer, I can't even remember the name of it. Can't remember. I don't know. Go on their website. The butt looks like this on one of their other ones, or one of their ground pounders, which is amazing. I love the basket. I love everything about this thing. It's got the lead wires are sewn in, as you can see somewhere around here. And the only thing I'm really missing is the boot on this magnet, which Incriminator Audio, I mean, all the ones that I've seen, they've got this really nice, I'm guessing it's like a rubber or some sort of a plastic boot that would fit here. If you can see that there's a space here, let's say it's 1/8 of an inch, and that would be where this gasket would go, which looked really nice, and it's got the and it had the logo on it. So I might just call Incriminator Audio and tell them, hey, just, you guys out of these things? You know, if you're out of them, if you got to get it on here, I don't know what the hell's going on. Can I have that? Because I want to install this thing inverted. So I'm showing off this motor. I mean, it's fucking badass. So I don't know what else to tell you. Essentially what I'm really trying to say is that this sub here is really good. I purchased this back in like 2009. It's when this version came out, more or less, after the original, which was, from what I hear online, was probably, I don't know, I hear it was better, whatever, it was made and designed in the US, whereas this one is probably assembled somewhere else. It's a badass sub, and I got the best price in the world for it, which I think it was around $130, $140 for this thing. If you want to buy these now, they're in excess of $200. And I'm really happy that at least on the newer versions of these, they took off this stupid cover, which is, I don't think it's stupid. I mean, it really goes with the basket. I see the design intent. I'm a designer myself. I see the intent, but it would have been really nice if maybe, just like how this basket has openings, maybe this plastic boot or cover had openings so you could see the magnet, and it's not doing what these cheap manufacturers do, which is they try to make this real beefy looking sub and they cover up the whole motor structure, and the motor's really just some puny little motor. That's not the case with this, so don't fucking be fooled. So I don't know, I'm gonna go install this thing. I hear that, I can't recall the sensitivity between these two drivers. I believe that this is a little bit harder to push. It might be around 88 or something. I can't forget, I can't remember the sensitivity to this one. So I'm gonna hook this thing up. It's pretty badass. and I can't wait to hear it again. Incriminator audio, you guys nailed it out of the fucking park with this thing. But I still want that fucking, that magnet cover because it looks really nice. And I mean, again, with the covers covering up the magnets, you know, I sometimes, you know, before receiving this sub, or actually even before receiving it, before I researched this thing, I just figured, maybe this, whatever they had on here, that cover was to hide a smaller motor. And again, that's not the case, obviously, with the RE, and here it's not the case either. It's just a cover for this magnet. So I want that. I want it. So I might call them and ask them for it. This has the these connectors here. It's like the push terminals. They seem to be pretty, you know, it takes a little bit of effort to push this thing, so that'll hold the wires pretty nicely. It seems like the gauge of the lead wires is very similar to the RE. I really don't see a difference between them. Besides, these are, you know, sewn in, and maybe this connection here is better. Whereas on the RE, it's just, it is soldered. And again, I had this repaired because after many years of abusing the shit out of this thing, and it's still pounding and it still sounds amazing, you know, these things just, it's just a movement causes these things to go away. But you've got these torque tight terminals, which worked out really nicely. So I don't know, upon receiving this thing, it's a monster, it's a beast. But when I took this thing out and compare them side by side, what I had before was no fucking joke either. So I'll hook this thing up. Let's see what it does with the power I can give it now, which is, I mean, it's what I've got. Stock electrical. I think my car is 100 amp stock alternator. I do have a Deep Cycle Optima battery, and it's going to a, it's a decent amp. It's a, what the hell's the name of this thing? It is a, what the hell amp do I have? What the fuck amp do I have? God damn it. It is a Massive Audio P1000, which is supposed to be CEA compliant. When I purchased it, and I can't find any documentation now proving that it is CEA compliant. And in their booklet, they say that it's really 880 watts RMS at when you bridge it down to 1 ohm, which is definitely more than enough power for this thing. I know this thing can take a lot more. So I'll hook this up and I'll give you guys another little update.